What's happening, guys? Welcome back to episode 14. So, from the Gate Town Bridge, the next thing we're going to be doing is fighting a Knight's Cavalry. So, we are going to make sure we switch it over to nighttime. And with that, I did want to bring up something. With doing these strategies and guides a lot of the times, there's a lot of different build types. There's casters, there's melee. Now, if you're doing a casting build, you should still have some melee weapons. There are plenty of intelligence weapons that do magic damage, frostbite damage, do all types of crazy things, and they are nice to have in the back pocket, even if you're trying to be a caster. I would like to recommend this because you get in fights like this. I mean, this guy's always moving around. He's very cowardly in the fact that he runs up, hits you, runs away, runs up, hit. So it's just hard to track him with spells. You may be able to pull it off, but I feel like it just gets to a point where you're making things harder on yourself. So it's okay to cast 90% of the time, but having something in the back pocket for these fights is going to help you, you know. So I would recommend doing so. Now, being in the Ernie, we'll pick you guys up your first few actual magic weapons too, a few somber ones. So you have a few choices early on at least. Come on, buddy. Now remember, when we fight these guys, I mean, we're doing health damage regardless, but we really want to focus on the horse. Because as soon as Mr. Horse is down, we'll be able to get that critical attack on. Just like that. Probably don't have that long, so. Or miss completely. Alright, that's good. Heal on up. No, 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 no. Oh, just for. He's got like one hit and he's dead. There it is. So, like I said, kind of a pain in the ass, but we've done it before. So taking him out, you're going to get your next Ash of War, which is going to be Ice Spear. So this is for halberds and spears. You will twirl your spear around and kind of chuck it forward, which does shoot off projectiles of ice, which is really nice because if Frostbite procs, you're going to do a huge dent to their health bar, as it does have that percentage base damage. Then on top of that, they're going to take 20% increased damage for, I think, a minute or two. So it's just really nice. So from here, let's go and switch it back to daytime. Now, what we're going to be doing is working up to the Artist Shack in our early run around. This is why I told you guys make sure you follow along, because we've already been here, right? We've already got to the Artist Shack. We already took the night out here for your prayer book, but we are just going to make sure we're covering this again. But yeah, when we pull up your map, it's just right up here, right before that little pillar. So that will be our main goal. Then we're going to go ahead and just clear all this section out to have that wrapped up. So along the way, there's a few alpha wolves. If you guys want to clear them, you can. I mean, I'm always trying to clear your areas, but these are animals, so I think that's a little bit different than our actual enemies. I'm sure you guys saw some lower stuff on the map too, but that's more for, when we do the lake, so I just wouldn't really be too concerned with it right now. So this guy right here, oops, did not jump off a horse. First time killing him, get your prayer book as mentioned. We've already done so, but if you guys want, if you haven't taken him out, I would highly recommend it. So I'm just going to do this real quick so it didn't fall long, just in case. Thank you. So, just the first time you're going to get an item. After that, don't expect it. I mean, he could drop his armor or his shield, which is a really, really good shield. But that's, you're going to have to farm for that stuff. So either way, with him taken on out, you can go up here, get your side of grace at the Artist Shack. Now, once we have this, we didn't touch this before, so we're going to go pick it up now. That's your painting for the area. This does not get solved for a while because we have to go all the way up here behind the Caria Manor. This is one of the last areas in the region we're going to do. So we still have, the rest of this, the bottom of the lake, all of that. Then we'll probably do Caria Manor. Then, we have the bottom here. And so it's coming. It's just quite a while off, quite a few episodes. Now, from here, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to go on down to Ash of War. We're going to go back to our other weapon. Put the Sacred Affinity on this. Make sure you have the Sacred Affinity. Then we're going to equip that for the next boss. So as we go down, well, I do want to pull up on the map for you guys. But, I mean, it's right here, but We'll leave it up for a second. So from the Artist Shack, you're going to see this little wooded area. There's going to be a boss fight with the Mariner there. So when we turned in the first death root, we got the eye. So this eye will say the beast eye quivers anytime you're near death root, so we can get into Grank's quest further. But we still need to get this guy out regardless. Then we're just going to be dropping straight down these gravestones and going into Jarburg. So that's the plan moving forward. All this pretty much branches off your main road, so shouldn't be too hard to follow. There will be a few undead guys. So there you see the Beast Eye Quivers. We fought this guy before. Now he will teleport from 3 spots. So he'll be back here in the woods, yep, in the water here, or up the hill. So if he, jumps around on you, it's always one of those 3 spots. He will not go anywhere else. Stay on him using sacred, guys. That's what we're after here. This is what's going to do the most amount of damage. Immune to blood loss. He's not immune to physical, obviously, but he's very resistant to it. It takes forever. Even with a better weapon, it takes forever. And there you go. So once we have him taken on out, go back to Bloodhounds. There's going to be a few items here, so you're going to get Death Root, obviously, every time. Skeletal Bandit Ashes, so that's a more elite version of the summons we're using. Just got to remember that you're trading out 3 guys for 1. But that 1 guy is, is pretty beefy. Smithing 3. And then once we have that, we are going to have to talk about something very quickly as it does pertain to the walkthrough. So as you go on out here to the right, you're going to see another hole. This is one of these steps for Alexander's questline that we're actually going to be skipping over the walkthrough. I want to explain why. Now, you can skip certain steps to Alexander's quest and still get it done. There's certain that you cannot, right? This is one of the skippable ones. So what happens is you would meet him up here first, knock him out of that hole. Then, and we have done this, then you'd go over to this tunnel in Caelid, get some dialogue from him. Then you'd have to go back this way to find him here in this crater, and then he'd go over here to Caelid. Now, we're not touching Caelid yet, so that's why we're skipping the step. And I know for a fact that, it's safe to skip it. But the other thing is you need oil. He's going to be stuck much better this time, and you have to use oil pots to grease him up, then smack him out. You don't even get the oil, the recipe for oil, until you do the underground regions. There's multiple underground regions aside from, these regions here. So, I mean, it's just really hard to pull it off. The right way to do it is if you're just hopping all over the place, and that's not something we do for the walkthrough. If you guys want to play it out, you could just jump over here and knock out this tunnel real quick. Boss is a doozy, so you don't know it's Caelid, but you could, and then you can come back here. But you still would need your oil pot. So the walkthrough, we're skipping it, but it's still, really important. I mentioned how things would typically go. I feel like so we've all dealt with gravestones before. They're obnoxious, yes, but we got to do it. So drop it straight down. This is going to be Jarburg. As soon as you get on the roof here, we're going to hop off the torrent, grab this, and if you just drop down and turn around, you're going to meet Jarbane. So Jarbane is pot people, kind of like Alexander. So these are friendlies. You do not want to attack any of the pots here, or you will be locked out of this quest. You used to be able to, but they updated it, and probably shouldn't kill innocent people anyways. But what he wants is a caretaker for the pots, which is a potentate. Our hands are too rough, so we have to find another NPC, send it back here, and this will get you a talisman that boosts the damage of throwable jars. So really obscure stuff, not super important. So I'll be your potentate.
It's not easy being Pino. It's just a little
show him your hands. Then he's just going to tell you the same thing I just did.
You need... I'm sorry. What a shame. We can still come back and visit.
And we can still be friends. Okay. So once we have talked to him, we're going to run on over, get your side of grace. There's not really much going on here. Just, it's in the area we're doing, so we're going to knock out his dialogue to start his quest. If you go behind the side of Grace, the hut that Grace was at, there is a graveyard with quite a few runes you can pick up, so that's nice. And this is also the best spot in the game to farm up crafting items. So I didn't personally craft that much in my playthroughs of the base game. However, I found myself crafting all the time in the DLC because how some of the secrets are set up, how some of the encounters are set up. You will find yourself crafting much more than you think. So it is good just to come stock up on all this stuff. It's going to keep respawning over and over, and you just get a lot of it. So what we're going to do is just go to the right, do a big loop around, coming up the left-hand side, getting all of the crafting and all of the items. So there will be a few cracked pots, ritual pots, and stuff you're going to want. There's going to be a hut over here. I'm going to grab that. Oops. I'm going to grab that. Remember, don't attack these guys, y'all. Do not even think about it. You're going to mess up the quest. Crackpot. Now, watch your screen. Watch how much crafting we're picking up here. You see that? Oh, screen's full. So much shit, dude. So much shit. As I said, every time you rest, it's going to respawn, so you'll be able to just stock up on it. Just smart to do. So this walkthrough is going to cover the base game, but we're also going to cover a prep guide for the DLC and then a full walkthrough of the DLC as well. So this is going to cover everything that is Elden Ring, right? So we'll make sure we get you guys set up for the DLC pretty nice before we go over. Now, if you go back up to Jarburg, you could use these roofs, and then on the other side, right here, will be your last ritual pot. Now, with that, we can jump back to the Artist Shack. Alright. Sorry, I had to hit my drink real quick. So from the Artist Shack, we're just going to go right behind. Now, a few of these areas we already took you through when we did our early run around because we wanted to grab Flame Cleanse Me so we could cleanse all the rot and the poison statuses. It's just smart before you get started so you're set up. However, obviously we didn't grab all the items, so we're going to briefly go through this. Jumping on down. And don't worry about your death route. We're going to get another one at the end of the episode, so we'll turn them in at the same time. But going on forward, when you kill this first guy here, it's one of those very specific enemies you're going to kill for a random drop. Which is right here. So that gets you Briars of Sin. This is for a really obscure build, which would be Faith Intelligence. There's not a lot of that going around. So I said there's a few things you could use. That's one of them. So Briars of Sin is going to cast a bunch of like roots from the ground with thorns and just do a lot of blood loss damage and physical as well. So it could be nice, but not many builds are going to have use for it because you need a bunch of faith, but you also need a staff to even cast. It's very different from anything else. Now we did this camp earlier on, but we didn't actually clear it. We just ran to grab the incantation. And now we'll be cleared it. So you can grab a gesture right here, fire spur, take these guys out. Feel free to check the tents if you want. There's really not much going on. So, like I said, not really much happened. With that out the way, we're just going off the backside. Over here to the left, there's going to be a site of grace called Eastern Tableland. Yet another place that we've already been to. So what we're going to do is just rest here, pull up the map, and show you guys the plan. So, moving forward. You're going to notice this darker brown area. This is all a lower area. So, we're going to go downhill, close this little section out, then we'll be going to the study hall. With that being said, this is going to lead you to an underground region, right? Similar to this one we didn't do. So we'll grab that later on, but while we're down here, we're going to go ahead and grab the path and the site of grace for the underground. So this is what I was telling you guys. Everything up here is like the back half of the game, if you will, right? So we uncovered all the maps to get started. That's Liurnia, Limgrave, Caelid. So we're going to get all this wrapped up before we go up there, obviously. But aside from that, there are multiple underground locations. You have one here. You have the other one here we showed you. And then after you defeat the main boss in Caelid, you come back. A big crater will appear. They'll take you to like 3 or 4 other underground locations. So all this needs to be done before we move on up there, right? And there are potential triggers and things like that. Now, it's all considered optional. However, I would never do a playthrough without the underground areas because there are some very good items. In fact, we'll get at least 3 of every Somber Stone, 1 through 9. And this will allow you to get like 1 main weapon, 1 shield, and 1 catalyst. such as a seal or a staff, fully upgraded, almost. It only gives it +10, so using somber stuff. So it's really beneficial to walk. Before we even get to halfway through the game, we're gonna have like a fully upgraded build, you know. Then we just come to some levels. You might get other stuff you like better, but from mid-game, you are, you know, arguably getting the strongest weapons in the game. Everything after that point is just other options that are there. But regardless, if you do, you know, follow along with the guide, when we do things in a specific way, I'm gonna get you much stronger than you would typically be earlier on, right? That's what it's all about. You got some really cool stuff along the way. Alright, so Ansel River Well. So the main reason I didn't take you guys to get this one is this lift. I swear to God, it feels like it takes 10 fucking minutes. It's so deep. This one just kind of flies by. It's really not that bad. You know, it's a little deep, but not like the other. Actually, a really cool area we'll get to do before too much longer. After we do Raya Lucaria, we'll be coming here. So it's a little bit up, but it's really not that bad. Now, besides this, that bottom, both left-hand side, the only other thing is a stone sword key about right here. So we're just going to go behind. There's going to be a lake. We're going to stay to the left, kind of go uphill for that. Then we'll be able to jump back and then go to Caria Study Hall for something that is extraordinarily annoying. We did get this out of grace, so we're good. Ooh, don't fall. Alright. So there'll be a few like room bears, one of those really big magic ball heads you saw over Weeping Peninsula. They're only worth like 100 runes, it's not worth your time. So feel free to fight this stuff if you want to, guys. We are not concerned with it. You know, we have too much to cover this episode to worry about little stuff like this. But feel free, obviously. Get you a few levels or whatever you're trying to, you know, do. It is good to clear areas, but sometimes, you know, there's no point of it. Alright, so grab your stone sword. Then we'll just hop back to save some time. Alright, now this next part is going to be rather annoying. I'm going to let you guys know right now. So, what happens is we have to go through Caria Study Hall. And when you're in here, you have to chase a mage around in a circle as he's casting spells and keeps teleporting. You just gotta run forever to hit him here, hit him there, and it's, like I said, it's super annoying. But it does lead to a staff and a spell. Also, before you go to the study hall, if you just curve around here to the right, this will take you down to a lake to grab a side of grace for later. So we'll go ahead and pick this up real quick. Alright. Like I said, that, you know, is just for later on. It'll make it easier to clear these other sections down here. And we can just hop over to it. I do want to check the time. How are we doing? 20 minutes, looking good. Now, if you're chasing this guy around in his third location, his last location, and you just can never get to him, keep teleporting, there's a known glitch. I ran around for 20 minutes, and I was like, what the fuck? And I spawned back in and tried again and beat him in 30 seconds. That's how I know that it's just not supposed to happen like that. He's supposed to teleport, teleport around. He's supposed to be hard to get to, but it shouldn't take more than fucking 5 minutes. If it does, there's a glitch. Rest, come back in. Trust me, it's gonna make you rage. I assure you. Like, it's pretty bad, man. It's pretty fucking bad. I'll be going in with Blood Loss, probably Blood Flame Blade. No, I'm not gonna use Blood Flame Blade because if I kill him sooner and he doesn't get to all of his locations, you guys might not know what to do. So, we'll be using our Blood Loss, but not our Blood Flame Blade. Because you might kill him in his second spot, then you guys never see what happens at the third. So I don't want that. So Caria Study Hall is a very neat area that needs to be done twice. Later on, we're going to turn this place upside down as part of a very obscure quest, and we'll be able to, kind of go through all that scaffolding and lead us to the Divine Bridge out here. This is much later, but this is round 1 of the Caria Study Hall. So as soon as we go in, we're going to go over here to the right-hand side. Also, this mage can spawn in a bunch of spectral enemies. You could run past them and ignore them, but they're worth over 220 souls a pop. So that's gonna add up, you kill 10 of these guys, you got 20,000 runes. I'm sorry, 2,000. But it's quick 2,000. Just stay on them. Yeah, my math was so flawed there. I was like, wait a second, they're not worth $2,000. What am I talking about? No, not a piece. You'll get $2,000 for like every level you go through. It's like 20,000 in full you can pull out of here, I guess. By killing the guy, you can kill every single one of these guys from every level. Look at 223, 223. But it just depends how long it takes you to put them down. Because if you keep spawning the guys, it's just going to keep getting low. So if you put them down quickly, you're not going to get knocked down. Don't hope you do that. But yeah, if it takes a while, sure. He's about to teleport. I was just trying to get his health down as much as possible. So now, we're going to simply finish taking these guys out and get your second caria staff. So remember the last one we picked up, it said 1 of 2. This is a few episodes back in the tower. It was right here. And it says 1 of 2 types of carrion staffs. This one enhances glint blade sorceries. This one's going to enhance carrion sword sorceries. So carrion slicer, stuff like that. And that's your glint blade. So they're going to be good choices if fully upgraded. I said that before, if you're going like a pure intelligence build, there's really good somber staffs, but it's a high requirement. If you're doing dual stat like Dex Int, it's better to use one of those because the requirement isn't so high, just have it fully upgraded. If you're going like 40-40, you know, now in game you'll be able to use a nice somber staff, but not until the end of the game if you bring it up Dex too. So it just gives choices to the hybrid build, I would say. Yeah. That does a lot of fucking damage. Now see how you just fucking spawned out of the way like that? Yeah, so you're supposed to be able to get to it. Maybe not yet, so. But like I said, if we're sitting here running around for 5 minutes, something's off. Yeah, something's off. It's not supposed to take that long. They usually get to a spot where it stops. You just gotta keep going and going until you get there. Heal. Yeah, we've already done a full circle. It's not supposed to take 20 minutes, guys. See how we finally caught him there? Now you finally stopped, right? And that's my point. It's supposed to stop. It's not supposed to go forever. So if it is, there's a glitch, something's wrong, rest, come back. Trust me on this. You're just going to drive yourself mad. And that's going to get you one of his spell magic downpour. The really cool magic arrow you can get, but not from him. It's going to come from Caria Manners. Then you'll get an upgraded one that does like 5 of those really big arrows at once. But this is like at the end of the game. Thank you. Let's finish clearing these guys out. So we put them down rather quickly, and we still got almost 10,000. That's what I'm saying. So if it just takes you forever to put them down, you'll get a lot of souls since those guys are like, you know, every 2 guys you kill is 500, and they just keep coming and coming and coming. But you can still pull almost 10,000 out here putting them down quickly. Plus you get, you know, staff and a spell. That's just nice. So you're going up, you want to be careful locking on. You're going to have to kill a lot of these rats. And if they fall over, you're locked on. I'm not saying it's guaranteed you're going to fall, but it's definitely a chance of that happening. Also, do not let them bump into you. Now, not locking on is kind of risky too, though, because you're sliding all over the place. Alright, so what we're looking for is this right here. Now, this is going to get you a really unique talisman that does have a few things to know to get the most out of it. If you're doing a custom build, you might want it, but it might not even be worth it depending on your stats. It's you know, one of those. It's got a couple things going on. Alright, so that's going to be right here. Cerulean Seed Talisman. hop out yet? Okay. So from here, we will jump back to Eastern Tableland. Now, if your flasks are fully upgraded and you have 38, no more than 38 in mind, one mana flask will fully heal your mana, right? So if you're going like 50 in mind, that's what that's for. Because the fact of the matter is if you don't have more than 38 mana, it's wasted. Because what it does, boost mana restoration from flask of cerulean tears. So, like I said, if you have 38 in mind, one flask is going to fully fill you up anyways. So what's the point of using that? You see what I'm saying? I mean, to each his own, but just to let you guys know so you're not wasting items, wasting the talisman slot. Now, before you fully upgrade, that's different, obviously. But, you know, after that, it's just not worth it. So we're going to try to knock out this endurance. Now, from here, all we're doing is going back up here to Muriel. Now, there's two things going on here that we didn't really talk about because we weren't here yet. We just grabbed him as an NPC, so you had somewhere to turn in your spells and incantations. So all you do is just stick right here, take the main road up, and after that, we'll be, you know, starting to work this way. Now, you're going to start seeing these fire carts all over the world. They were an absolute nightmare until I realized how I was fighting them wrong. I'll show you guys, there's two really cool ways to kill them. So, how it goes is you have to fight them from behind and backstab the little dude inside, right? But he's going to have a lot more health than what you think. I mean, if you just smack the cart, you're fucking up big time. It's going to do nothing to it. But you gotta just, you know, get to him. Whether it's backstabs or attacks, it doesn't matter, but that's the only weak point. Right? So when he's attacking you, you're really just running and chasing this guy down, trying to, for whatever reason, try to give him a damn backstab. But yeah, that's how you fight him. You can get like a death drop on him too. It's a crazy attack where you attack from below. You know, stab right through the big head and make it explode. Oh, it's so cool. But you gotta be set up for it. We'll show that in Caelid. It's really, really, really dope. Alright, so going up the main trail, right where you see all these guys, just keep falling to the left. Like I said, I gave you a location to turn in scrolls and prayer books with this guy, but there's a statue that we need to discuss in a chest that we need to open and discuss. Alright. So, we all know turn in prayer books, turn in scrolls, buy spells and incantations, because the other NPCs you can do this from have quests, they leave, they die, depending on choices, then you lose access to the spells. He never leaves, so this is the only guy you should turn that stuff into. Aside from that, if you have pissed off an NPC, accidentally smacked one, you can't do their quest, you can come here, and you can request absolution. We don't need any because, you know, we've done the right thing. But if that ever happens, you can come here and try to get absolution. Aside from that, there's a chest with the gold sewing needle. Now, still don't need it just yet, but that's going to progress box quests. And also, once you have access to, like, demigod armor, like god tier armor, that is going to, you know, take off capes, put on capes, stuff like that. But since it's god tier armor, you're going to need the gold sewing needle. Alright, so now we have that caught up. What we're going to be doing is, we're actually, you know, going near this lake, but this top portion is kind of white. Like, this one item, I think it's an H relief right here, looking at my notes. So we'll just run over, grab that, then we'll get back on the main road, take this down into this wooded area, then we'll just kind of shoot over and go through Old Palace ruins. So, you know, feel free to put on your map if you feel like you need to, guys. This one you can't really miss, if I'm being honest. Just cause. Just cause. Oh, it's great violet. Yeah, I didn't write it down, I was just guessing. Usually it's like always a fucking H relief. Alright. Just to save some time, we'll fast travel back. Alright guys, so getting on the main road, we're simply following it to the left. This area actually is very confusing though. It's not that I'm just like pulling up navigation because I think people are stupid. It has so many layers to it that some things cannot be accessed from depending on where you are. So it can be very confusing if you take the wrong turn anywhere. So once you see these big guys on your left, this is old palace ruins. These guys are rough, man. Because they're so beefy, you can be smacked in the face with ultra great sword, and somehow they can still fucking tank right through your attacks to get these long combos off, right? Then you're gonna notice you got a guy up there shooting arrows. So he doesn't always shoot magic arrows. Sometimes they're shooting regular arrows. The fact of the matter is you're gonna notice these arrows are homing missiles. They do not fucking miss. You see that? Like, they just won't miss. They will never miss. Every now and then you might be able to juke one, but it's almost impossible. So it's very rage worthy, I guess you could say. Yeah, like it's pissed me off pretty fucking bad before. If you haven't noticed the way I talk about it, you know what I mean? It's gonna be the same thing for a lot of you. But, you know, for the most part, we can deal with it because we have like little pillars we can hide behind. Or, you know, try to use whatever to our advantage that we can. Line them up. Thank you. Alright. So the ones that are shooting arrows are right over here on the left hand side. You see that? Just heal through it. This guy can do it too. This guy can do it too. So what we'll do is we're just going to stick to the right. All the way across in case you die, get your side of grace. Trust me on this, you will thank me. Because you have to run through all that shit again every time. And you notice he's shooting regular arrows too, he wasn't. So it's not magic arrows or dwelling arrows every time, but it's enough to justify the warning. You can have access to him as well, but, you know. A lot of work for 182 rings. Alright. Now that they're down, we'll go ahead, drop down, and rest on up. Just so we start the next area fresh. Alright, so moving forward from the statue, before we really go down the main path, which we will, you're going to go around this rock to the right. Don't drop all the way down, but where you see these statues, you could drop down one ledge right here for an item. It's similar to your warming stone, but it's frenzied flame stone, so it'll still heal you over time standing in that sigil. However, now it's going to cause you to take madness in return. And there's also something else that does very late game. Let's go. Alright, so from here, you're going to follow it around, you're going to see another big mausoleum. Notice it does not have the bell at the bottom. We cannot use them for early boss duplication. Drop them if you want to, but, you know, it's not going to be much of use. So what we are going to do, though, is left right here to the left. We're going to go up this way to about right here. Going to the top left, there's going to be a shield. Then we're just going to go straight across right here for Side of Grace. I'll leave that up for a second. And that was that item up on that ledge you saw a second ago. Spiral Horn Shield's nice because the small shield makes it easier to parry. However, it's also going to boost every single status effect in the game. You know, boost your resistance. As I said, with that, we're going to go straight across, right here towards the center of the area. You can kind of go uphill a bit. This next part can be a little bit more confusing. I'm going to tell you why. So, over here, what we're going to do is go back towards the lake, drop down. There's going to be an Atrium leaf with a broom bear, so we'll probably just run past them, grab that, and we have to go uphill this way, or the lower, you know, downhill, then back uphill, and you have to get all the way to this corner right here, but you have to go like this. The reason being is there's a talisman right here, but there's a rock formation with the opening right here. If you don't go there, you just can't get to it. You know what I mean? So we'll remove our markers. Want to let you guys know where we're going. So we'll leave it there just in case you guys get lost. Straightforward path, but you'll see what I mean when you actually see it play out. Because, like I said, it's really tricky to get to these items. All about having the right route. So feel free to fight Mr. Roombear if you wish. You do not have to. He'll chase you, but he'll back off. So, once you grab your Atria, you're going to go past to the right. There he is. Come on. I forgot, there's a few guys up ahead too. Water rescue. Boom. I know when you owe me a stagger. I know how it feels. And it takes a while to build up blood loss in them, don't it? That's gotta be it. Blood loss. Thank you. Alright. This is so he doesn't face you because you or follow you because you have wolves, and then I forgot you had one of these guys too, so they might lock you in there. Alright, so just like I said, once you get to this straight, we're just following it around. Then you'll eventually see the big mausoleum. You're gonna take a right. You're uphill. Follow this all the way down, and right where a marker is. Look how close I was. I told you. So there's a wall blocking you, but this is where opening's gonna be. So that's all we did. We just came right through the woods, over here in this back corner. So it's not that I think anyone's dumb. It's just I find this area very confusing myself because there's just so many layers, and if you enter anything in the wrong way, it does you no good. So that's going to be your, I think it's your first resistance talisman. It's going to boost your resistance to frostbite and blood loss. Stalwart, I think. Yeah. So it raises robustness. Robustness governs resistance to blood loss and frostbite. So, we'll actually have the death. So this one says vitality. So it raises vitality. Then if you read, vitality governs resistance to effects of death. So vitality is death blight buildup. That's the status. They'll raise your resistance to death blight buildup. Then robustness is your resistances to blood loss and frostbite, and then obviously there's others too because you have poison and rot, right? So either way, guys, with all that done, we could actually jump back to Mausoleum Compound. You're gonna realize there's another mausoleum right here, nearly two back to back. So if you go straight uphill, we're not going to do this yet. We're actually got to jump to Round Table Hold. It's part of a quest we're going to get into. But just to show, you're going to notice there's not a bell on him either, right? So these are things to keep in mind. Now, as soon as we go forward, we're going to be leaving Mausoleum Compound, going up top, and going right over here. And then you're going to have first Avatar boss fight. But after you do that, you drop down and you go to this catacomb. Now, this catacomb is part of a quest line. So what we got to do first, before I forget, I'm actually redoing this episode because I forgot to do this step. And it doesn't matter. It's the thing. I should have just kept the episode I had. It doesn't matter, but it is showing the quest in the right way, right? So going on over, you need to exhaust all your dialogue with Rogier, which we've done before. You need to talk about the Black Knives and get the lore. So that's where Deathbite came from. Is whenever they killed the first demigod, what's his name? Godfrey or Godric or whatever the hell his name was. Deathbite started growing out of his body because he was like a god that was not supposed to be killed, and he was. So Deathbite, started growing out of his body, and then those who live in death started coming throughout the world, and that's the ones that D hunt. Him and D used to be friends, but D sees the Deathbite growing out of him. If you notice at the bottom of his chair, so like they're not friends no more. But he's curious about that night. He's been reading about it, and he found evidence about the Black Knife Catacombs is right here. So once you get his dialogue, and I'm just running over this quickly to save us 20 minutes, you know what I mean? So I hope I explained good enough. So we've already done this earlier, but what you would do is you'd get that dialogue from him, you'd make it to Liurnia, then you go talk to Thea.
I am pleased to see. Would you like me?
So you will have to go through this from time to time. Because this is progressing her quest, which still doesn't come for a while until like one of the last underground areas we do. But you gotta do this so often.
You are so.
Talk in secret.
I was known as a deathbed companion. After I received, I lay to do so before I was away. Pray, despite all so plead.
Do you know?
My dear, have you ever heard of Black Knife Prince? Dear Roger likes to talk of them when abed, and the ancient plot in which the first of the demigods was slain. The black knives wielded by the assassins who committed the act, along with the impressions they made, somehow hide the truth of the conspiracy. These grand affairs are hardly my forte, but dear Roger began to weep as he spoke. In truth, I've heard tell from someone else about the Black Knife Prince that fascinate dear Roger so. But it would perhaps.
Alright, so once you have that, it's really just a map of the catacombs we're about to go to. Obviously, you know, we still have a boss fight in the way, but there's not a site of grace in between, so we have to do this now. But just to show, go here to recent items. Go here to recent items. You can zoom in a bit. A clue to the whereabouts of the Black Knife Prince. If you notice, it's got that canal with a tree on the left and a tower to the right. Canal, tree to the left, tower to the right. So that's where it's at. And like I said, so what we're going to be doing is going from Mausoleum Compound. We're going to go up here, go to the right, fight the Erdtree Avatar, and we just drop straight down to the left and, you know, and go right there. So that's what we're going to be doing, but it is going to kind of be back to back. So we just want to make sure this is covered. Now, as previously mentioned, you don't have to do this step. It's okay to miss it, and, you know, the quest will play out the same. But being the walkthrough, I want to make sure we show all the steps in order. There's nothing we could have done about, instead of the Alexander's. We just got to miss that step because we're not doing Caelid yet. But if there are some we can show the full breakdown, we obviously will. And we could with Alexander's too, but it's going to make me bring you guys to a pretty rough tunnel in Caelid. I just don't think many players are going to be ready. So, I mean, I wish we could, but I don't want to put you guys into a hard time before you're ready to deal with it. Alright, so when you go over here, you're going to have to fight a bunch of these guys while you're fighting the Erdtree Avatar, and it can be rather rough. So what you're going to want to do is summon, and hopefully they can help distract so we can clear all these guys first. That's what we want. We want to make sure they're all down first, get a nice fair one-on-one fight. Now, the Avatar can kill them too, right? But if it doesn't kill all of them, you're going to not be having fun. It's going to be too much. Because she's a beefy enemy on her own. Alright. Now we're ready for the fight. If the summons get killed, I can give a shit. There you go. Alright, so from this point, we don't need summons. We'll send them back. I mean, it doesn't really save us mana or anything. We don't get it back. But they at least get out of our way. Now, we've covered these guys before. We just wait for them to attack, dodge, charge heavy, sprint, repeat. I mean, you could add in a few hits to get those things. But that's essentially it. Just make sure you're actually watching closely, as sometimes they might have a combo, right? Ooh, that was close, dude. I got lucky. Dude, I'll admit it. We got lucky. I like to keep Blood Flame Blade. Obviously not for blood boss, but for fire. Free, we can fire. What time you hit it? That's the one thing you have not seen him do yet that is a threat. See how they all kind of shoot at you? So you're just gonna sit here and run side to side. That's it, guys. Just dodge his hits, charge heavy in between. That is it. Look at that. Now this one's actually super rewarding. It's going to give you 3 tiers for your Wondrous Vision, which are considered, you know, some of the best in the game. It's going to boost 3 different types of elemental damage while your flask is active. So that's going to be your magic, lightning, and holy shroud and crack tears. So you'll be able to boost magic damage for a time, lightning damage for a time, and holy damage for a time. So we're doing the recommended build's actually faith strength. We're gonna do pyromancy. So there's nothing for us there. But we will fight one that gives us the fire shrouding, and that's really going to help our builds out, because you use those before you go into boss fights. That's what they're for boss fights, because the flasks don't last forever, right? So if we can go into a boss fight, boost our fire damage, it's just going to be nice. It's just going to be nice. Now from there, you're going to see the jellyfish, and we're just curving around to the left. Matter of fact, before we do that, I'm not going to fight the room bear unless I have to. He's going to make me it. He's going to make me. Is he going off the cliff, bro? Because I've never seen that, but I'll take it. Oh, now the blood loss is there again. We don't need it anymore. That was the one problem I have with status effect. It seems like by the time they go off, the enemies go. Like they don't go off fast enough in this game. It depends. It depends on your damage and stuff, right? Lower your damage, the more they'll go off. But either way, if you go all the way down this way, this is more of me just showing you guys something. This is going to lead back to where we were before. It just leads you in a full circle all the way back around. So, not missing any items. But I didn't want anyone thinking that, oh, we never went that way. We probably missed something. So, it just brings you back around. That's it. But you would have missed that top portion, and you would have missed a boss with 3 tiers for your class. 3 damage boosting tiers for your class. 3 of the best tiers in the game for your class. So, yeah, that's why we do things the way we do them. Now, I'm hoping we can fit this catacomb in. Let's go check our time. Ooh. It'd be so close. I feel like we could do it, but I feel like we shouldn't risk it. Because I can't go over an hour. I've mentioned before, I do my channel from PlayStation. And at an hour, they cut, they're going to cut off the video automatically. There's nothing I can do about it. As I said, typically we go for 30-minute episodes. Elden Ring being such a big game, we have to go for an hour. It's still a 100-episode series, biggest to date. But they will cut us off at an hour. Can't go over. This guy is using Death Blight. Hits you too much, you're gonna die. But I mean, anytime you get hit too much, you're gonna die. So keep that in mind. Now, with everything we've done quest-wise, we are definitely ready for this place. I don't think it's going to take us 15 minutes to do it, but I'd rather be safe. So before we close out, let's go and snatch this up a level. So I think we got like 3 more after this. We're going to want endurance higher, but I think if we can get to 20 for the time being, as long as we have on our talisman, we'll be good. And then when we're ready to take that off, we do need to put 5 more levels into this. But at some point, like, as soon as we get this to 20, we'll start bringing up strength and faith. And then what we'll do is, like, when we get to these, like, 30, we can just pull them back down to, like, 25, put, 5 levels here, 5 levels here, and be done with it, right? And we'll still have plenty of damage to reach requirements. So I think that'd just be the best bet. But before we close out, the other thing I wanted to do is put back on your holy sword. It's obviously, going to be undead type catacombs, so just make sure we are all ready and set up. So as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in to my channel for the guide. I hope you guys are enjoying the walkthrough, and we will catch you back here shortly.